Hello, and welcome to Simply Explained English, the podcast where we make learning English easy and fun. I am Lisa.
And I am Eric.
Today, we will have a quick review of episodes 48, 49, and 50. Okay, what are the words of episode 48, Eric?
The first word today is, I'm just saying. Then we will continue with, it's up to somebody. And I've had enough. Then, on someone own. And the final one is, don't sweat it.
So let's start with the first phrase, Eric.
The first word is, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying is a phrase used to express an opinion or make a soft comment because you don't want to be critical and not offend the person.
It's a way to make your statement or suggestion softer, like emphasizing that you are not criticizing. You are just giving feedback or a suggestion.
Yes, Lisa. Here's an example. I know you love that shirt, but it might be a bit too casual for the wedding. I'm just saying. It means that the shirt is serious for the wedding, just a suggestion, but I don't mean to be rude.
Good. Now my example. Maybe you should call her, I'm just saying. It means that I think you should call her, but it's just a suggestion.
Great. Now, let's hear a sample dialogue using I'm just saying.
What do you think about my presentation, Mary?
Well, it was a bit long. I'm just saying, maybe next time you can make it shorter.
You might be right. Anything else?
Also, you talked very fast. I'm just saying, slowing down could help people understand better.
In the dialogue, Mary uses I'm just saying to give John some feedback about his presentation. She uses it to make her comments softer.
Yes, and when she says, I'm just saying maybe next time you can make it shorter, she gives a suggestion without being too direct or rude.
Exactly. Do you use I'm just saying sometimes, Lisa?
Yes, I do. For example, if I think a friend is making a mistake, but I don't want to be very direct, I might say, I'm just saying, maybe you should think about it more.
That's a great example of using the phrase to offer advice without being critical.
Exactly. I wanted to suggest a possible solution, but also make it clear that it was just my opinion. How about you, Eric? Do you use I'm just saying?
I use it too. Sometimes at work, when I want to give advice but not be too forceful, I say, I'm just saying this alternative is better.
It is a good way to use the phrase in that way. You offer your opinion, but you also respect others' opinions.
I agree, it can make your opinions and comments softer and more polite.
Okay, Eric, let's move on to the next word.
The next word is, it's up to somebody.
It's up to somebody.
It's up to somebody.
It's up to somebody means that the person can decide or choose what to do. For example, if you say, it's up to you, it means you can make the decision or do whatever you want.
Yes, and if we use a verb after the phrase, we put to after up. It's like, it's up to you to go on or not. Now let's look at some example sentences.
I'll start. Here is the first example. It's up to you. You can choose the restaurant. I am fine with all. It means that you can decide which restaurant we go to.
Good. Now the second example. It's up to him to finish the project. It means that he has the responsibility to finish the project.
Great examples. Now let's hear a sample dialogue using it's up to somebody.
I don't know what to do this weekend.
Well, it's up to you. You can stay home or go out.
What about the movie night? Should we invite James?
It's up to you. If you think he would like it, then invite him.
In the dialogue, Sarah and Tom are talking about what to do for the weekend. Tom tells Sarah that she can make the decision. He says, it's up to you.
Yes, and when Sarah asks about inviting James, Tom says, it's up to you again. This means Sarah can choose if she wants to invite James or not.
Exactly, Lisa. Do you sometimes say, it's up to you in your daily life?
Yes, I do. For example, when my friends and I decide where to eat, I often say, it's up to you. if I don't have a specific preference. What about you, Eric?
I use it too. At work, when my team needs to choose a project to start, I sometimes say it's up to the team to let them decide.
That's a good way to give people the option to choose. Do you think it's important to let others make decisions?
Yes, I do. It shows trust and respect. Also, it can make people feel more involved and responsible.
I agree. Letting others decide can be very positive. It's a simple way to show that you think their opinion is also important.
Exactly. So remember, it's up to somebody is a useful phrase for letting others make a decision. It's helpful in many situations, whether with friends, family, or at work.
Yes, and it's also very easy to use. It's up to you. That's it.
Yes, that's it, Lisa. Okay, let's continue with the next word. The next word is, I've had enough.
I've had enough.
I've had enough. This phrase is used when someone is frustrated or tired of a situation or something and doesn't want to continue with it. It's like saying, I don't want any more of this.
That's a strong expression, isn't it?
Yes, it is, Lisa. Let me give you an example. I've had enough of this noise. I'm going to find a quieter place to work. It means that the person is annoyed by the noise and wants to leave.
And another example, she said, I've had enough of your lies. I am leaving. This means that she could not tolerate his lies anymore and decided to leave.
Now, let's listen to an example dialogue about the phrase.
I've been on this diet for a month now, and I've had enough. I miss chocolate too much. I'm going to give it up.
I know it's hard, but think about the results. You've said you've had enough before and gave up. Then you were very sad because you gave up. It's not the right decision to say, I've had enough and give up now.
Yes, maybe. You're right.
That dialogue shows how I've had enough can be used in different contexts. Eric, have you ever felt like saying, I've had enough?
Yes. When I was learning to play the guitar, I sometimes felt like saying, I've had enough, because it was so challenging. What about you, Lisa?
I've felt that way when I'm stuck in traffic. Sometimes I think, I've had enough of this traffic. I should start taking the train.
It's a phrase that really expresses our limits. Listeners, remember that you can say, I've had enough, when you need a break or a change.
Okay, I think our listeners understood this explanation. So what is the next word, Eric?
The next word is on someone's own.
On someone's own.
On someone's own. On someone's own means doing something alone, without help from other people. It's a way of saying you are doing it alone.
When you do something, if nobody helps you, you can say, on my own.
Exactly, Lisa. Let's give some examples so that our listeners understand better. I'll start. She finished the project on her own. It means that she completed the project by herself without any help.
Now the second example. She decided to start her own business on her own. It means that she made the decision and started the business without assistance.
Great. Now let's hear a sample dialogue using on someone's own.
Did you hear that? Mark built his new computer on his own.
Wow, really? That's impressive. I didn't know he could do it on his own.
Yes, he spent all weekend working on it, and now it's done.
I wish I could do something like that on my own.
In the dialogue, Emma and Sophie discuss how Mark built his computer by himself. They use on his own to show that he did it without anybody's help.
Yes, when Emma says Mark built his new computer on his own, it means he didn't have any help.
Now, let's talk about the phrase a bit more. Lisa, have you done anything on your own recently?
Yes, I have. I recently learned how to bake bread on my own. It was fun and a bit challenging. What about you, Eric?
I painted my living room on my own last month. It took a lot of time, but I felt very proud afterward.
It's a great example. Do you think doing things on your own is important?
I think it depends. Sometimes it might be difficult to do something on your own. You might need someone to help you. But on the other hand, it helps us learn and become more independent. It can also be very satisfying to complete something on your own.
I agree. In some cases, doing things on your own can be a great way to challenge yourself and grow.
Exactly. So remember, listeners, on someone's own is a useful phrase to show that you are doing something without help from others.
That's right. We hope our listeners found this explanation helpful. Now, let's move on to our last word, Eric.
The last word is don't sweat it.
Don't sweat it.
Don't sweat it. Don't sweat it means don't worry about it or don't be stressed about it. It's a way to tell someone to relax and not to be anxious.
That's a very comforting phrase. Can you give us an example sentence, Eric?
Sure. If someone apologizes for being a few minutes late, you might say, "Don't sweat it. You're here now."
It means that being late is not a big issue. Now, the second example. Don't sweat it. Everything will be fine. It means that the person shouldn't worry because everything will be okay.
Great example, Lisa. Now, let's make a sample dialogue.
I'm sorry. I didn't finish my part of the report on time.
Don't sweat it, Kevin. We still have time before the deadline.
Thanks, Anna. I'll make sure it's done by tomorrow.
No worries. I know you'll do a great job. Don't sweat it.
That dialogue shows how "don't sweat it" can be used in a supportive way. Eric, have you ever had to tell someone, "Don't sweat it"?
Yes, when a friend of mine was stressed about hosting a party, I told her, "Don't sweat it. Everyone will have a good time." How about you, Lisa?
I used it when my sister was worried about a test. I said, "Don't sweat it. You've studied hard and you'll do fine." Eric, do you think it's important to use phrases like "don't sweat it" in conversations?
Yes, I think it is. It helps to reassure people and make them feel better. It's a kind way to tell someone to relax.
I agree. Using phrases like "don't sweat it" can help calm others and show that we care about their feelings.
Exactly. Remember, "don't sweat it" is a useful phrase for telling someone not to worry or stress about something.
What are the words today, Eric?
The first word today is take to something or somebody. Then we will continue with to be up for something and to be into something. Then, don't get me wrong. And the final one is it's a steal.
Wow, Eric, these are all widely used expressions in spoken English.
Yes, Lisa, they are very useful and very common in daily English.
Okay, let's start with the first phrase, Eric.
The first word is take to something or somebody.
Take to something or somebody.
Take to something or somebody. It is a phrasal verb, and it has two meanings. The first meaning is that when you take to someone, you become friendly with them quickly. It's like warming up to someone quickly. For example, I took to our new neighbors very quickly. They're so warm and welcoming. Or, the two dogs took to each other immediately and started to play. Here, the dogs formed a liking for each other right away.
That's a clear explanation, Eric. What about the second meaning?
The second one is to start doing something regularly, like getting used to something. If you start doing a new hobby and you do it often, you can say, "I took to it." For example, she's taken to walking along the beach after work. Here, walking along the beach has become her regular habit. Or he's taken to staying out very late. This means he has started to go back home late.
Or Sarah took to her new job very quickly. This means that Sarah liked her new job and felt comfortable with it very quickly. And remember, if you use a verb after take to, you should use the ing form. For example, John took to jogging every morning. This means that John started jogging every morning and now does it regularly.
Perfect. Now let's use take to something or somebody in a short dialogue between Emma and Tom.
Hey, Hey, Tom, I saw you at the gym yesterday. How was your first day?
Hi, Emma. It was great. I took to the exercises immediately. The trainer is really good, and I also made some new friends. I took to them very quickly.
That's awesome. For me, I have taken to playing the guitar during my free time.
It's great. You have always wanted to play a guitar.
So in the dialogue, Tom said, I took to the exercises immediately. He means that he liked the exercises and felt comfortable with them right away. Then he said, I took to new friends. This means they become very friendly right away.
Exactly. Now let's have a little chat about this word. Eric, have you ever taken to something quickly?
Yes, I have. When I started learning to play the guitar, I took to it right away. I found it really fun and interesting. How about you, Lisa?
I took to yoga when I first tried it. I felt relaxed and enjoyed the exercises. Eric, do you think people can take to something quickly? Or does it take time?
It depends on the person and the activity. Some people take to new things quickly if they find them interesting. Others might need more time. What do you think helps people take to new things faster, Lisa?
I think having a good teacher or a friend to help can make a big difference. Also, being open-minded and willing to try new things can help a lot.
That's a great point, Lisa. And for our listeners, remember that take to something or somebody means like it quickly or starting to do it regularly. Try to use it in your own sentences and write them in the comment section.
Okay, let's move on to our next word, Eric.
The next word is to be up for something.
To be up for something.
To be up for something. I am up for something means I am willing to do something, or I am interested in doing something. You say this when you are ready and excited to do an activity.
Great. So, I am up for something is a fantastic phrase. When you say this, you're expressing that you're willing and ready to do something. It's like raising your hand and saying, count me in, or I'm game. Imagine your friends invite you to a spontaneous picnic and you're excited to join. You can say, I'm up for it.
Exactly. And this phrase is all about being ready for new experiences or activities. You can use it in various contexts. For example, hey Lisa, there's a salsa dancing class tonight. Are you up for it? Or, I'm up for trying that new Thai restaurant downtown. How about you?
Precisely. And sometimes it's about expressing enthusiasm. Like, I'm up for a movie night. Let's watch that new romantic comedy. Or, are you up for a game of chess? I've been practicing.
Now, let's hear a sample dialogue using I am up for something.
Hey Sarah, there's a hiking trip this weekend. Are you up for it?
Yes, I am up for it, if you are. I love hiking.
Great, we'll have a lot of fun.
It's a good example. Now, let's talk about the phrase a bit more. Lisa, do you often say, I am up for something?
Yes, I do. For example, if someone asks whether I want to try a new restaurant, I might say, I am up for it. What about you, Eric?
I use it too. When friends ask if I want to go to a movie with them, I might say, I am up for a movie night. It helps to show your interest and willingness to participate in activities.
I agree. Using phrases like I am up for something can make conversations more engaging and show your enthusiasm.
That's right. We hope our listeners found this explanation helpful. Don't forget to practice using I am up for something.
Okay, what's the next word, Eric?
The next word is I'm into something.
I'm into something?
I'm into something. I'm into something is an interesting phrase. It means to be really interested in something. Imagine you have a hobby or activity you enjoy so much that you can't get enough of it. You can say, I'm into it. It's like saying, I'm passionate about it or I really like it.
Yes, it's a way to tell someone what you enjoy. Now let's look at some example sentences. I'll start. The first example is, I'm really into cooking these days. It means that the person likes cooking very much right now.
Now, the second example. She's into reading mystery novels. It means that she enjoys reading mystery books a lot.
Right. And it's not just about hobbies. You can also use it for music, movies, or even people. For instance, I'm into Mozart and classical music these days. Or I used to be into soccer, but I got bored of it after I stopped playing it in high school.
These are great examples, Lisa. Now, let's hear a sample dialogue using I'm into something.
Hey Maria, what do you like to do in your free time?
Well, I'm into photography. I love capturing beautiful moments with my camera. How about you?
Oh, I'm into hiking. Exploring nature is my thing.
It was a good example. Now, let's talk about the phrase a bit more. Lisa, do you often say, I'm into something?
Yes, I do. For example, when I talk about my hobbies, I might say, I'm into movies or I'm into hiking. Eric, do you think it's important to use phrases like, I'm into something in conversations?
Yes, I think it is. It helps to share our interests with others and makes conversations more engaging.
So viewers, that's the phrase, I'm into something. It's all about expressing your interests and passions, whether it's a hobby, music, or a person. Use this phrase to share what excites you.
That's right. We hope you found this explanation helpful. Practice using I'm into something in your conversations. Now, let's move on to the next word. The next phrase is, don't get me wrong.
Don't get me wrong.
Don't get me wrong.
Don't get me wrong means don't misunderstand me. You say this when you want to make sure that the person you're talking to understands you correctly.
Yes, it's used when you want to clarify something. Now, let's look at some example sentences.
Here's the first example. Don't get me wrong, I like your idea, but I think it needs more work. It means that the person likes the idea but thinks it needs improvement.
Now the second example. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy working here, but the hours are too long. It means that the person likes their job but thinks the working hours are too long.
Great. Now let's hear a sample dialogue using don't get me wrong.
Hey Maya, what do you think about the new project management software?
Well, Alex, don't get me wrong. I appreciate the effort to streamline things, but I still prefer our old system.
In the dialogue, Maya uses don't get me wrong. To explain that, she approves of the project but prefers the old system.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about the phrase a bit more. Lisa, do you often say, don't get me wrong?
Yes, I do. For example, if I'm giving feedback, I might say, don't get me wrong. You did a great job, but there's room for improvement. What about you, Eric?
I use it too. When explaining my preferences, I might say, don't get me wrong. I like the city, but prefer the countryside.
That's a great example. Do you think it's important to use phrases like, don't get me wrong, in conversations?
Yes, I think it is. It helps to clarify your point and make sure the other person understands your true feelings.
I agree. Using phrases like don't get me wrong can prevent misunderstandings and make communication clearer.
Exactly. So remember, don't get me wrong is a useful phrase to clarify your thoughts and avoid misunderstandings.
I think our viewers understand how to use don't get me wrong now. It's time to explain the last word. What's the last word, Eric?
The last word is, it's a steal.
It's a steal.
It's a steal.
It's a steal is a phrase. It means that something is very cheap or a very good bargain. You use this phrase when you think the price of something is much lower than it should be.
Yes. And this phrase is commonly used when you're surprised by how little you have to pay for something. For instance, I got these leather boots for only $30 at a yard sale. It's a total steal. Or, believe it or not, these high-quality speakers were a steal at $400.
Precisely. And it's not just about material things. You can also use it metaphorically. For example, the concert tickets were so cheap that it felt like stealing. Or getting a front row seat at the theater for half price. That's definitely a steal.
Now, let's take a look at dialogue using this phrase.
Hey, look at this jacket. It's only $15.
Wow, that's so cheap. It's a steal.
I know, right? I'm gonna buy it.
You should. At that price, it's definitely a steal.
In the dialogue, when Jane says, "It's only $15, she is surprised by the low price. And when Mike says, "It's a steal," he agrees that it's a very good deal.
Exactly, Lisa. Have you ever found something and thought, it's a steal?
Yes, a few weeks ago, I found a beautiful lamp for my living room at a garage sale for only $5. It was definitely a steal. What about you, Eric?
I found a nice watch at a flea market for just $10. It looked so expensive, so I thought, it's a steal.
That's a great example. Do you think it's important to use phrases like, "it's a steal" in conversations?
Yes, I think it is. It helps to express excitement, and it is extremely cheap. So, viewers, remember to use "it's a steal" when you want to express excitement about a fantastic deal.
Okay, what are the words today, Eric?
The first word today is "that'll be the day." Then we will continue with "can't get enough of" and "be tied up." Then, "it's not the end of the world." And the final one is "we're in the same boat."
Let's start with the first word, Eric.
The first word today is "that'll be the day."
That'll be the day.
That'll be the day.
What does "that'll be the day" mean, Eric?
It means that something is very unlikely to happen. We use this expression for something we don't expect to happen. And we playfully make fun of someone's statement that we don't believe is optimistic or unrealistic.
For example, if someone says, "I will win the lottery," you might reply, "That'll be the day." Because winning the lottery is very rare and unlikely.
That's a good example, Lisa.
Another one. She said she would stop eating chocolate, but that'll be the day.
It means that the person thinks it is very unlikely that he will stop eating chocolate because he loves it too much. Now, let's talk about some grammar points. We use "that'll be the day" as a response to something that we think is not going to happen.
Yes, and it often comes at the end of a sentence or as a standalone response. Now, let's give a sample dialogue using the phrase. How about a conversation between two friends at a coffee shop?
Sure, Lisa.
Jamie, guess what? I'm going to climb Mount Everest next month.
Alex, you? Climbing Everest? That'll be the day. You're afraid of heights.
No, seriously. I've been training, and I've got this.
Uh-huh. And I suppose you'll be sipping chai tea at the summit?
Well, maybe not chai, but definitely celebrating with hot cocoa.
That was a funny dialogue. Lisa, why do you think Emma says, "that'll be the day," when Jack talks about climbing Mount Everest?
Emma says, "That'll be the day," because she thinks it is very unlikely that Jack will climb Mount Everest. She knows Jack cannot climb because of his fear of heights.
Now, let's switch to our friendly conversation. You'll be Jamie, and I'll be Alex.
Sure.
Okay, let's start. Jamie, I'm thinking of starting my own bakery. Pastries, cakes, the whole deal.
Alex, your own bakery? That'll be the day. But hey, dream big.
No, really, I've got secret family recipes.
Okay, spill. What's the secret to your grandma's chocolate chip cookies?
Unicorn tears. But don't tell anyone.
Haha, unicorn tears? Love it. I liked this dialogue.
And there you have it. A playful podcast episode about the phrase.
I liked our example dialogue very much.
Me too, Lisa. Do you have another example?
Yes, I have. Once my friend said he would start waking up early every day, and I said, "That'll be the day," because he always sleeps in.
That's a good example. It's a fun way to show you think something is unlikely.
And this is the last one. My brother said he would stop playing video games. I said, "That'll be the day," because he loves playing them too much.
These are great examples. I am sure our viewers have understood their meaning and how to use them.
Yes, Eric, let's move on to the next word.
The next word is can't get enough of something or somebody.
Can't get enough of something or somebody?
Can't get enough of something or somebody.
That's a great choice. So what does it mean?
Well, it means you really like something or someone so much that you always want more of it. For example, if you really like chocolate, you can say, I can't get enough of chocolate. This shows that you love chocolate very much and want to eat it often.
So it's like saying, I want to eat more and more.
Exactly. You're getting it quickly. And it's not just about food. We can use this expression for anything. For example, someone might say, I can't get enough of those beautiful sunsets. Or, I can't get enough of spending time with my best friend. It shows that you enjoy their company so much that you want more of it.
That's a good explanation, Eric. Now let me give some example sentences.
Sure, go ahead.
Here's the first sentence. I can't get enough of this song. I listen to it every day.
It means that the person likes the song very much and listens to it every day because they enjoy it so much.
The second one. She can't get enough of her new puppy. She plays with it all the time.
It means that she loves her new puppy very much and spends a lot of time playing with it because it makes her happy. Now, let's talk about some grammar points. We use can't get enough of, followed by a noun or pronoun. We can also use verbs, but we should use ing after it. Like, I can't get enough of hiking or watching, etc.
Okay. Let's make a sample dialogue using this phrase. Our characters are John and Mary, and they're catching up over coffee.
Mary, have you heard the new song by The Wave?
Yes, I can't get enough of it. I've been playing it on repeat all day.
Me too. I even listen to it while I'm studying. It's so good.
I can't get enough of their music. Every song is just amazing.
We should go to their concert next month.
Absolutely. I can't get enough of their live performances either.
That was a useful dialogue. Now let's talk about it. Lisa, why do you think Mary says she can't get enough of the song?
Mary says she can't get enough of the song because she really likes it and enjoys listening to it many times. It makes her happy.
Yes. It's always good to have things we enjoy and can't get enough of.
Remember, our listeners can use this expression in various contexts, whether it's about food, hobbies, or people.
Yes, it is. And that's all for the word.
All right, let's move on to our next word. What's the next word, Eric?
The next word is be tied up.
Be tied up.
Be tied up. It means to be very busy and unable to do other things. For example, if you are working a lot and can't go out, you can say, I am tied up with work. This shows that you are too busy to do anything else.
That's a good explanation, Eric. Now, let's give some example sentences. I'll start. Here is the first sentence. I can't meet you for lunch today because I am tied up with meetings.
Good example. It means that the person is very busy with meetings and cannot go to lunch.
The second one. She was tied up in traffic and arrived late to the party.
It means that she was very busy or stuck in traffic, so she got to the party late. Great. Now, let's discuss some grammar points. We often use be tied up, followed by with or in, to explain what is making us busy.
Yes, and it's usually in the form of to be, plus tied up, plus with or in, plus activity.
Great. Let's give a sample dialogue using the phrase, two co-workers, Sarah and Tom, are talking at the office.
Hey, Tom, can you help me with this report?
I'm sorry, Sarah. I'm tied up with another project right now.
That's okay. Maybe later.
Sure, once I finish this, I will help you. I've been tied up all morning.
Thanks, Tom. I appreciate it.
That was a useful dialogue. Lisa, he says, he has been tied up all morning. What does that mean?
It means that Tom has been very busy the whole morning with different tasks and projects.
Exactly. It shows that Tom had no free time all morning. Lisa, do you often feel tied up with work?
Yes, sometimes. I feel tied up with work, especially when I have many things to do in one day. How about you, Eric?
I also feel tied up sometimes, especially when I have meetings and deadlines. It can be very busy.
That's true, but it's good to manage our time well, so we don't feel too tied up.
Yes, managing time is important, and we should take breaks. Because life isn't just about work, you know.
Well said, Eric. Okay, let's move on to our next word.
The next word is, it's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world. Well, when we say, it's not the end of the world, means that something is not as bad as it seems. For example, if you fail a test, someone might say it's not the end of the world to make you feel better and emphasize that it's not a big disaster.
So it's like saying, don't worry too much, it's not the end of everything.
Exactly. It's used when someone is feeling upset or disappointed.
Let's hear our example dialogue. Two friends, Alex and Mia, are talking in a cafe.
Mia, I didn't get into the university I wanted.
Oh no. But don't worry, Alex, it's not the end of the world.
I know, but I feel so disappointed.
I understand, but there are many other good universities. You'll find the right one for you.
Thanks, Mia. You're right. It's not the end of the world.
Lisa, why do you think Mia says it's not the end of the world when Alex talks about not getting into the university?
Mia says it's not the end of the world to comfort Alex and show him that not getting into the university is not a big disaster. There are other options.
Exactly. It helps Alex feel better about the situation. Lisa, have you ever used it's not the end of the world to comfort someone?
Sure. My brother was upset because his soccer team lost a game. I told him, it's not the end of the world. There will be more games.
Great examples. It's a useful phrase to know. Okay, and that's all for the word.
All right, it's time to explain the last word.
The last word is, we're in the same boat.
We're in the same boat.
We're in the same boat. It means that we are in the same situation or have the same problem. For example, if you and your friend both have a lot of homework, you can say, we're in the same boat.
It's like saying, we're all in this together. Imagine, you're in a small boat with others, in the same wavy sea.
Exactly. Let me give you an example sentence.
Sure, go ahead.
We both failed the test, so we're in the same boat.
It means that both people did not pass the test, so they have the same problem.
She lost her job, and he lost his job too. They're in the same boat.
It means that both people are in the same situation because they both lost their jobs.
Great. It's often used to show empathy or to let someone know they are not alone in their situation. Now, let's give a sample dialogue using the phrase.
Jane, I have so much homework to do. I don't know how I will finish it all.
Me too, Tom. We're in the same boat.
Really? I thought I was the only one struggling.
No, you're not alone. We both have a lot to do.
It's good to know we're in the same boat. Maybe we can help each other.
That was a nice dialogue. Now let's talk about it. Lisa, why do you think Jane says, we're in the same boat, when Tom talks about his homework?
Jane says we're in the same boat to show Tom that she also has a lot of homework and understands his situation.
Yes, and when Tom says it's good to know they're in the same boat, what does he mean?
He means that it makes him feel better, to know that someone else has the same problem and that he is not alone.
Exactly. It helps Tom feel less stressed about his homework. Lisa, have you ever used we're in the same boat to comfort someone?
Yes, I have. Once my friend and I both had to work late, and I said, we're in the same boat to show that we were both in the same situation.
That's a good example. It's a helpful phrase to use when you want to show empathy.
Agreed. Okay, Eric, we have reached the end of the review. We hope it will be a useful review for our viewers. See you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.